continue on about what was life like for them in the New World, okay? So when they arrived, they lived on the ship for a while houses and other buildings were being built. And here you can see the picture of the ship that they lived on. Okay, this was the Mayflower, and the original Mayflower isn't around anymore, but this one is a recreation of the Mayflower. So they built the boat to look exactly like the original one did, and you can actually go and visit it today. And so they ended up living on the ship for a while they were waiting for their houses. Okay, that's kind of a difficult thing. Okay, you can tell from looking at that picture, there's probably not a whole lot of room on that boat. Okay, and we had a lot of people that were kind of crammed in there together. Okay, during their first winter there, over half of the people died. And so just another struggle that they faced, as a lot of these people weren't used to just the new place where they were. They didn't have proper maybe shelter right away, and they didn't have maybe doctors and medicine and different things to help take care of them as they moved to this new place. Squanto, a Native American, taught the Pilgrims how to plant corn and survive in their new home. Okay, so he comes to their rescue and he helps them as they are just trying to figure out how to survive there. And then in the fall, they held a feast to celebrate what God had done for them and bringing them through that first long winter. And you can see this picture here. I'm going to show you a little bit closer. What are they doing in that picture?
Praying.
Okay, they're praying. Okay, they're thanking God for that. What else do you think they're doing? Just some observations that you can make.
They're eating.
They're eating, right? They're celebrating. Good. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and look in a little bit more detail into this story called Sarah Morton's Day. Okay, a day in the life of a pilgrim girl. And this is one of my favorite books because it shows us what her life was like. Okay, so coming and living in this new country. So when we are reading this book, I want you to pay very close attention because you guys are going to do a little activity at the end. So listen very carefully, and if you have questions, make sure you ask. So this takes place November 12th, 1627. Good day. My name is Sarah Morton. My family sailed to America 40 years ago on a ship called the Anne. We came to seek freedom from the Church of England. First, my family settled in Holland, where I was born. Life in Holland was hard for us, so we set sail for the New World. Okay, where is Holland?
Europe.
In Europe, right. My father died that first winter, so he would have been one of the people that made up half the group that ended up not surviving that first winter there. This spring, Mother married Goodman Kempton. I am learning to call him father and am trying hard to earn his love. Come thee with me, let me show thee how my days are. Okay, Goodman just means like Mr. And you can notice that they say using the word thee, okay, which just means you. This is my village. It is called Plymouth Plantation. You can see the houses that they ended up building where they moved from the Mayflower, their ship, into these houses. A little bit different probably from the houses that we're used to. And here's the start to her day. At sunup, when the cockerel crows, I must get up and be about my chores. Hey, what's a cockerel? What animal crows?
Probably a rooster.
Yeah, probably a rooster. You're right with that. So I get up and she has to start her chores, her different jobs that she has to do around the house. She puts on her overgarments. What's an overgarment? Probably not a word that we use a whole lot, but an overgarment would be, what's she doing here? Pictures.
Putting on clothes?
Yeah, she's putting on her clothes. And you can see she's got her petticoat, stockings, garters, more petticoats, waistcoat, coif, apron, her pocket, her bag that she carried stuff in, and then her shoes, and then she rolls up her bed and sticks it all in the corner, okay? Probably a little bit different than how you get ready in the morning. The fire is mine to tend. I throw brush on the red coals to make them dance. Mother and I make the hasty pudding, and I lay the table with clean cloths, bowls, and spoons. I serve Mother and my new father first. I must stand at my place to eat. Perchance my new father will make a stool for me. Perchance just means maybe. Okay, and we'll see that word a lot in the rest of the story as we keep reading. And so they're making, you can see them here cooking their breakfast, okay, kind of like maybe an oatmeal or porridge type thing they're eating. Do any of you help your parents make breakfast in the morning?
Yeah.
You do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's part of her job in the morning is helping get breakfast together. You can see them eating here. Okay, she's standing because she doesn't have a spot to sit yet, but probably that will come as they continue to build and get the things that they need. With the table scraps I have collected, I go out to feed the chickens. Because I have forgotten to latch the pen, I must run our hens a game of chase. Okay, that could be a little bit of a confusing sentence. I must run our hens a game of chase. But if you look at this picture here, she forgot to close the gate. So what happened to the hens?
They got out.
They got out, right. So you can see she's chasing them. She's trying to get them back in before she goes on to the rest of her jobs, her chores. So at milking time, I find my best friend Elizabeth Warren at the pen. As we milk, we tell each other secrets. Today I tell her of a dream about my real father. I miss him often, but I do not speak of him to anyone save Elizabeth. So she's the only one that she really talks to about her father. I do not wish to seem ungrateful to my new father. Elizabeth likes to remember the time before she came to the New World. She tells me of shops in England full of colored ribbons and affairs with women dancing. And so they're thinking back about the place that they came from. Now, how many of you have ever moved to a new place before? Maybe a new house or a new town or maybe a state or maybe even a different country. And you think back to your old home, okay? And that's what they're doing here. They're thinking back to where they came from before the New World. And what's the New World again?
America.
America, right. Just a place that hadn't really been settled yet up to this point. So after milking, I muck the garden to make it rich for planting next spring. The muck is heavy and I must stop often to rest. Hurry along, Sarah, Mother calls from the door. Oh, Mary, I am caught idle again. And idle meaning she was stopping, she was taking a break. Her mother wasn't too happy about it. She's got to get back to getting the garden ready for planting their new crops. I am to pound spices this day. What are some spices that you might use in cooking? Any ideas?
Pepper.
Pepper, good.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, that's what I was thinking of. And with those spices, do you have to pound them, crush them, or they usually come that way? Usually come that way for us. And so you can see in this picture, they didn't have stores and things like we do today in this country. So she's got to pound those spices and get them ready so they can use them for cooking. And over here, you can see her mother with the churn, probably making butter or something like that. And so this is their next job for the day, is just preparing things so they've got them for when they need them. I am to pound spices this day. Our house will have a pleasant scent. The thump-thump of Mother's churning keeps me company. I wish I could tell Mother about my dream, but she is quiet today, and I have often enough gotten the rod for speaking out of turn. Okay, gotten the rod would be just another term for being punished. So she's focusing on her job. Next, Mother and I prepared the midday meal. What do you think the midday meal is? What do we call the midday meal?
Dinner.
Dinner, okay, it could be called dinner. What are some other words for the midday meal?
Lunch.
Lunch, okay. What time would you usually eat the midday meal? Around noon maybe, okay, maybe 11:30, 12, around there. So here you can see they've got a big lunch, okay. They're eating their big meal in the middle of the day. And when my new father comes home for dinner, he seems pleased with the rich pottage in warm Indian cornbread that we have made. After dinner, it's time for my favorite task. I draw vinegar to polish the brass. If I am patient and rub salt and vinegar slowly, the kettle will truly shine. Of a sudden, I hear a warning shot from the meeting house on the hill. It means a ship has been sighted. Perchance, remember that means maybe, we will have some visitors on tomorrow's tide. So there's a ship that's come in. They might be having visitors that come in. I pray that they won't be people who wish us harm. What do you think that means? They don't want people that will wish them harm. What does harm mean?
To bring them something?
Okay, could be. What kind of things would harm bring them?
Danger.
Danger? Yeah, probably not good things, okay? It would be bringing them bad things. So they're hoping that these visitors that come are going to be people that are nice and kind and not going to hurt them. Mother says I may fetch Elizabeth. We run to the top of the hill to see the ship, but it's still a tiny speck at sea. I dare not wait to see more. It's time for my lessons. Okay, lessons meaning her schoolwork. My new father thinks I show a talent for learning. I am grateful, for in many families, girls are not spared from their chores for lessons. My fingers are clumsy around the chalk, but it gets easier. Someday I may be able to read Mother the letters she gets from her relations in England. So if she's able to learn, she'll be able to read the letters that her mom gets. And so it talks about how she has a talent for learning. What do you think the word talent means?
Money.
Money. It is used as that. But in this situation, she has a talent for learning. Any ideas?
She likes it.
She likes it. Okay, that would be part of it. Okay, a talent meaning she has a good ability for that. Okay, she's good at that. And liking it would be part of that. After the lesson, Elizabeth is waiting for me. I show her my new father's gift. He has made me a knicker box. Elizabeth and I take turns shooting. We keep score with scratches in the sand. Today my marbles go through the arches more truly. Hers bounce back to her. I am winning, but the sun is beginning to lower, and I must get back to my chores. So I want you to look at this picture. And we had on this page, we had the word knicker box. Okay, we probably don't know what that is. But it talks about how they take turns shooting. They're keeping score. She's winning. They're using marbles. Okay, what do you think knicker box is? If you look at that picture. What do you think it is? It would be a type of...
Sounds like a game.
Yeah, like a type of game, okay? And so you can see them there playing the game. And so even though she's had a busy day with school and chores, she still has a little bit of time to play with her friend. I feed the fire to heat the pottage again and milk the goats once more. The big brown goat is troublesome. The more I push, the more she kicks. I will have a mark to show from her tomorrow. As I return from milking, my new father is coming home. He has news of the ship. It carries visitors to our village. There is much talk about where to lodge them and how to portion out the stores. So when they're talking about lodging the visitors, they're talking about where they are going to let them stay. And it also talks about portioning out the stores. Okay, is that talking about a store where you go and buy stuff? Is that how we would use that? Portioning out the stores? Probably not. Okay, that sounds a little funny there. But what does stores mean? Okay, they're talking about their supplies. So, here we're going to use some crayons. Okay, we got a whole box of them. This is our supply of crayons. So if we're portioning out the store, that means I'm going to give you each your own amount of crayons. Okay, so everybody's going to get their own little group of crayons so that not one person's taking it all. Everyone has their own little section, and everyone's getting equal amounts. Okay, go ahead and hold on to those crayons because we're going to be using them in a little bit, so keep them there. After we have eaten, my new father quizzes me on my verses. I have been learning this one by heart since last Sabbath. It has words to turn my tongue into a knot. Okay, so she's been working on memorizing this verse. And where it says it has words to turn my tongue into a knot. Okay, that just means that it's a little bit confusing for her to say. She has a little bit of difficulty saying it, but she's getting it. And this evening, Father is pleased with my learning. He hugs me with pride. Perchance, remember matey, he does like having a daughter. Mother calls for me. We set off for the spring to fetch water for tomorrow, and we look out to sea and see the ship. Perchance, Mother will have letters and a bolt of new cloth tomorrow. Okay, cloth would have been, a bolt of cloth would be how the cloth was brought to them. Now there is time for quiet conversing. Think about that word conversing. And as I read the next couple of sentences, I want you to try to figure out what conversing means. So Mother speaks first. She asks how I am liking my new father. I can truthfully say that I am becoming fond of him. It has been many months since I have seen Mother seem so glad. So based off of that, what do you think conversing means? Mother speaks first. She asks how I am liking my new father. I can truthfully say.
Converses are shoes.
Okay, it's a type of shoe. What about conversing? A bit different. It's a verb here, something you can do. What do you think conversing means?
Is it when two people talk to each other?
You're right. What made you think that that's what it meant?
Because her mom talked to her and then she talked to her mom.
Exactly. Okay, so they're having a conversation, so they're conversing. The air gets chill as we fill our buckets. It is getting towards sundown. The village quiets as we turn homeward. Father and Mother talk in the candlelight, and I bid them good night. I get my bedding ready and put my overgarments in the chest. What are overgarments again?
It's what she put on in the morning.
Right, it was her clothes that she put on in the morning. So here she's taking them off and she's putting on her pajamas. Okay? The end of the day. Though I am almost grown, I tell the day's events to my puppet. I tell her about the ship in the harbor, winning knickers from Elizabeth, in my dream. And best of all, I tell her of my new father's pride in my learning. It has been a fine day. I say my prayers and thank God for his bounty. Fare thee well. God be with thee. What do you think her puppet is? Based on the picture, what do you think a puppet is? Over here. She's talking to it.
A doll?
Probably a doll. Okay, maybe some of you have a doll or a stuffed animal that you like to sleep with. Maybe you tell it different things about your day. And that's what she's doing here. Okay, so even though this was several hundred years ago, you can see that there are a lot of similarities, even though there are a lot of differences, to what we're like today. Okay, so what I want you to do, you have some crayons on your desk, and I'm going to give you some more, so you've got a variety here. And I want you to think back to a part of Sarah's day. Okay, she got up in the morning. What did she do after she got up in the morning? Does anybody remember? Go back to our book and look at it again.
She got dressed.
She got dressed, right? Okay, probably like what we would do.
She
What
put
did she
her
do?
bed away.
She put her bed away, right? We make our beds, most of us, but she put her bed away, okay? Rolled it up in the corner. Okay, after she got ready for the day, what did she do next? She had to start doing all sorts of different...
Making breakfast.
Yeah, she made breakfast, then she goes outside.
She did chores.
She did chores, she's taking care of her animals. She's working in the garden, she's helping her mom prepare things for cooking. She makes lunch. Okay, so she's busy throughout the day with her chores. What does she do after her chores? What does she do in this picture?
School.
School, right, she's doing school next. Then she has a little bit of time to play with her friend. She's doing some more chores, more schoolwork, more chores, and then it's the end of the day. She's getting ready for bed, okay? So, thinking about her day, I want you to pick one part of her day that you can draw me a picture of, okay? So I want you to draw a picture representing part of her day, and then down below at the bottom of the picture, in your own words, I want you to tell me what she's doing in the picture, okay? What's going on in your picture? And then I'm gonna ask you about it. I want you to tell me about it, okay? So take a couple of minutes, use your crayons, okay? Make it a nice, neat job drawing a picture of one part of the story. And if there's something that you want to see in the book again, Okay, we can go ahead and turn to that page so you can have a little bit of a reminder of it. Okay, so take a couple of minutes to work on that.